Hello, yes, you at home. This is Commissioner of the NBA speaking to you, Adam Silver. Here's a message in courtesy of BenchMob in collaboration with the NBA Store. When BenchMob hits 1,000 subscribers, they'll be giving away a free NBA jersey to a lucky subscriber. So just do all the things listed on the screen. God damn it.
Denver Nuggets fans, you finally have a title under the belt. 2023 champions, congratulations.
Ooh.
So the reason why I'm congratulating you guys is obviously because I'm a good person, but that's not the main reason. The reason for the video today is we are looking back on the last few seasons where the Nuggets were in the playoffs and obviously missed their key star, their co-star and co-superstar in Jamal Murray, who played a pivotal role in winning the title this year or helping the Nuggets win the title this year. So question that begs and question I'm going to pose to you today, Marcus. Would the Nuggets have won a title earlier had Jamal Murray been healthy during the last two seasons?
Okay, so I'll begin this video. I'm going to give my credit to Jamal Murray because he's a hell of a talent. Arguably could have been the Finals MVP, I think.
Any other season,
yeah.
if you don't have Jokic, he's
Jokic obviously deserves it, but I'm just like Murray had a great Finals, and I think it's not going under-deserved, but it's like he killed it. He came back from an injury. I think he deserves his flowers. But with that being said, do I think this Denver Nuggets team with Jamal Murray healthy in 2021, where it was a Bucks-Suns Finals, do I think they defeat the Suns in the Western Conference semifinals? Looking back here, they got swept in 4 games. First game, they lose by about 20. Second game, they lose by about 20. Game 3, they lose by 14. Game 5, they lose by about 10. Game 4, they lose by about 10, sorry. I don't think Jamal Murray would be enough to defeat this Phoenix Suns team. I still have the Suns going through to the NBA Finals. Chris Paul, maybe one of his most dominant playoff series in his career. The guy averaged like 26, 5, and 10. Maybe Murray could have contributed on the defensive end and even held him accountable because we know Murray, if Chris Paul's going off, Jamal's likely going back right at him. But this Phoenix Suns team was a very, very strong team. They knocked off the Lakers squad. They could have won that championship. I don't see the Denver Nuggets going through with this series, and I honestly think the roster this time around this year, it improved off their past roster. You look at it, they got Bol, but he didn't play. Will Barton's there.
Campazzo.
Yeah.
Is undersized. He wouldn't really have been much of a factor.
They're not bad players. Like Isaiah Hartenstein, great backup center. Even Monte Morris, he's a great player. But I just reckon with their team now, with guys like KCP with championship pedigree, like you mentioned off there, Bruce Brown, hell of a role player, perfect role player. And then even like
Aaron Gordon, a year,
played like
an extra year in the Denver Nuggets system, learned how to play proper Denver Nuggets basketball and how to play alongside a guy like Nikola Jokic, and learned what his true role in that side was. And I think he probably played better this year than he did the previous year that he was with the Nuggets as well. So he's only gotten better.
And then Thomas Bryant, great backup center. He didn't even play in the series, so they got like such great depth. And then one more mention, Reggie Jackson. They made that trade for Bones Highland for a reason, but he didn't really play that much in the finals. So it's credit to them and how good their depth really is this time around this year.
I think one guy who's gone really under the radar in terms of, he produced when he needed to, but I think he provided what he was there for, which was the mentorship, and that was obviously Jeff Green. There was that clip of him coaching up Aaron Gordon and telling him, if you've got this particular matchup, to attack the baseline, you see this particular defensive scheme, do this, and he just being around the league for so many years, 16 plus years in the NBA, it just allows him to teach these younger guys and maybe these guys that haven't had that playoff experience or haven't had that experience on that the biggest stage to maximize them to their full potential. So that's invaluable experience as well, having a guy like Jeff Green, and he performed when he needed to, like I said, and I think he definitely provided an impact.
Yeah, I love Denver's culture. Like they've always tried. Like even before Jeff Green, Paul Millsap. I mean, at the time everyone's great get, and it was a great get. It's just they just got eliminated too early in the finals, and moving on to...
How can we forget a guy like DeAndre Jordan, as well?
DJ 3000. Yeah, another great leader. And it's awesome, like, these veterans finally get a championship after years and years and contemplating retirement. Ish Smith even served everywhere, basically. Every NBA franchise, he finally gets rewarded with a chip. So that's awesome. But, the 2022 NBA Finals, Warriors obviously went on to defeat the Boston Celtics. How do I view this? Do I see him knocking out the Warriors? I mean, Warriors eliminated them 4-1. I think you got one of the greatest point guards ever in Steph. Maybe the Nuggets win an extra 2 to 3 games.
Possibly stretch it to 7.
Yeah, but I don't see them eliminating this Warriors team. I mean, Curry was out for redemption. Clay was back. He wasn't full like the Clay we know, but he's back. So
that was the year Jordan Poole. That was his breaking out. Yeah, that was his coming out party. So having that guy, I mean,
earned his contract.
Possibly having a guy like Jamal Murray on the court, you might be able to nullify at least one of those guys, and that could possibly help, bridge the gap a little bit there. But it's tough. It's really tough.
Yeah, but that's just my 2 cents. I don't see him eliminating either of those teams in the Suns or the Warriors, but hey, they won the championship, so
I think they probably would have, like you said, made it a lot more competitive, and it probably wouldn't have been as one-sided as it may have been. And I think you got to remember this. I'm putting this scenario out to you. The reason why Jokic was able to be nullified was because they knew that most of the action was going through Jokic.
Yeah. He didn't play bad. He's just like...
That's what I'm saying. But what I'm saying, you put this scenario in your head. You have a guy like Jamal Murray who now has to have a bit more attention from the defense.
Yeah.
It allows Jokic to play the game that he likes to play, which is to obviously get the ball out of his hands, be unselfish, play that 2-man game with Jamal.
Yeah.
That could have caused a lot more headaches for the Golden State Warriors than him just being on his own there in the painted area, having to try and like maximize that matchup, or having to really assert himself on the contest to be able to help will his team over the line. So you've seen it in these last few series when when Jamal was cold and Jokic had to take up the scoring load, teams managed to get a little bit on top of them. So the reason why I'm saying is it could have been a lot more closer than you may actually think is because they need each other more. Like he needs Jamal as much as Jamal needs him in that sense. And I think when that whole offense is a well-oiled machine and they're going, running their sets and, like I said, running their offense the right way, they're unstoppable.
Yeah.
But the moment they become predictable, one guy's not hitting his shots, these other guys aren't hitting their shots, all of a sudden all the offense is going through Jokic. It always does go through him, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is he needs to then put up 25 shots a night, which isn't his game. That's when we know he's going to shoot the ball here. He needs to shoot it. He needs to, create some offense for this team. Bang, we can lock down on him. We can nullify him.
100%.
So that's the only thing where I look at, I'm saying, you know what? That could have posed a threat to any of those teams they faced because we've seen how much damage and how dangerous they were in these series. So, but not disagreeing at all with you in terms of I believe their roster definitely is better this year. So, yeah, it's always going to be hindsight. It's always going to be a hypothetical. Yeah. What if this person didn't get injured? What if this? What if that? But ultimately, maybe had they stayed healthy, they might not have even won this chip this year. So you kind of got to take it. Maybe Jamal Murray doesn't break out or push himself to get back to the level because obviously with the injury, he immediately thought he was going to get traded. He thought he was, on his last legs with the Nuggets. He comes back and maybe wants to prove something to them to say that I can still be the same player. And having that setback has maybe made him mentally stronger and mentally prepared for situations like this come playoff time. So, those situations and those tough circumstances that these players get thrown in only makes them better players in the long run. So, again, like I mentioned, Gordon having that extra year in the system and probably realizing what his role was, that he didn't need to be that star player. Michael Porter coming back, although he didn't have the best series at times and the best games come certain moments in the playoffs.
He kept attacking.
He kept attacking, and he wasn't correct. He wasn't afraid to really
take on the big light.
Yeah, correct. And the lights were never too bright for him in that sense. So, like I mentioned, maybe they won't win the chip if they win or if they're all healthy in the previous years. So maybe it was just the right time. Everything happens for a reason. We spoke to Ronnie Fields just before, and he mentioned to us about the injury that he had, and he could have obviously gone on to do great things in the NBA, but he doesn't regret anything, and he always says things happen for a reason. There's, stuff in life always leads you down a path that you were meant to go down. So maybe this was meant to be the Nuggets' destiny. Yeah. They were meant to have some setbacks and failures before they really reached that ultimate goal, and they obviously achieved that now. And, if they can continue to keep this roster together and possibly build going forward, adding a few more pieces, obviously there'll be some turnover most likely. Then if they can continue to fill in those gaps, there's no reason why they can't win a couple more chips if Jokic continues to play the way he does.
100%. I hope, as a Lakers fan, it sounds crazy, but I'd love to see Jokic be a perennial, NBA championship. But yeah, wish him all the best. But on Mike Malone's terms, the guy just has to be quiet, I reckon.
He's just salty.
He's chatting way too much, I don't know, man. The whole, thinking of considering retirement, obviously a shot at LeBron, and then it's it seems like every single bloody interview, you got to mention the Lakers.
Got any salt in here? Just going to go pour myself some salt.
Nah, it's just ridiculous. It actually does my head in, and I think, wish him all the best, but at the same time, fuck Mike Malone.
Nah, Mike Malone's a genuinely good person. I think he... you could see how much he gives a shit about every single guy on the roster. So I don't agree with you on that one. You're just a bronzexual. Nah, but in all seriousness, congrats to the Nuggets again. They turned a corner, and I love that they shoved it up the arse of certain. I don't give a shit. I'm gonna speak my mind here. Especially, I'm shouting out Kendrick Perkins in this particular situation. Calls him out. Tells Jokic that he's not deserving of MVP, or he hasn't had playoff success, and the moment he says that, bang, he wins a title, and he's basically proven every single reporter who said to Jokic that he wasn't deserving that shove it up, you guys, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much.
So no, it's good to see that. I like those kind of stories where players are written off, or they're constantly talked down in the media or not given the respect that they deserve. Like the fact that Jokic was nearly a 3-time MVP and people were starting to downplay his greatness.
Yeah, the fact that Murray's he's obviously an all-star caliber player, but never been an all-star. I hope he is an all-star one day, but who knows? Maybe he has a great career and he's never an all-star. Always got to be someone who doesn't get recognition. And, it's just really tough, but I guess that's how sports works.
That's it. There's always going to be, one team that gets a lot of media attention, spotlight, and
Lakers,
and then players that are loved by the media and constantly get this recognition, this credit provided to them, whereas other teams will just constantly be written off and be hounded by the media saying that they need to be better, blah, 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 blah.
And then when they do it, it's
And then you see the change. So many people, Jokic, look at this photo of Jokic when he was young. Look at this, how great this pass. But during the year, it's remember that Reddit?
He's the MVP.
Remember that Reddit thread we read? And how it was talking about Jokic's defense.
Yeah.
And they were ripping into him and just posting clip after clip.
He's never gone far in the postseason.
Yeah, correct.
But then when they win now, it's you can't say anything.
Now they're crediting him as he's actually a better defender than people give him credit for. But everyone who was saying
good.
he's actually a good defender before we're looking at you crazy saying are you serious? Why? As if you think Jokic is a good defender. That to me just blows my mind. And it's people's memories are so quickly erased when these things happen.
It's just recent bias.
Recency bias, yeah.
Recency bias. Recent bias.
Yeah.
Yeah.
even a guy like Giannis, like same thing,
Gets eliminated. Everyone's like, he's got to be better. Get a jump shot. He doesn't have a bag.
Yeah. And then he goes on to win a title.
Yeah.
And then, people were off his case, and then he loses. Like, it's just when you're on top of the world, everyone loves you. As soon as there's a bit of failure or there's some struggles there,
yeah,
people are so quick to write you off and forget all of your previous.
It's just historical. Like Kobe, later parts of his career, he's a ball hog. Like he's no good. They forget the 5 championships he's won before that, and you could even use like Luka this season. The Mavericks struggled. Like, can you build a team around Luka? Like, it's always got to be some questions or something to throw out there. Like even LeBron. I mean, obviously he can still play at a high level, but now people like, have we seen the last championship LeBron could win? But yeah, just live in the moment as an NBA fan and just enjoy the greatness of.
Just appreciate what's out there, because like I said, you just mentioned a guy like Luka. He's doing something so historic. He's one of the first players. I think it's him and 2 other guys that are all NBA first team in their first 5 years, like 4 or more times in their first 5 years. And it's incredible to think that he's only missed out on it once, which was his rookie year, and he was probably unlucky not to even be selected for the All-Star game or even, get some recognition on that front. So I think respect greatness when it's in front of you, appreciate the talent that we have, because like I said, when time comes, it'll be a few years before they retire, or it'll be the year that they decide to leave the game, and we'll be forever ruining the moments that we, didn't get to cherish properly because we're always hounding them or on their case. So that's all we have to say. That's the rant over. I mean, again, congrats to the Nuggets. I'm excited to see the seasons coming up and how everything will shape out in free agency in the draft, and how these new collective bargaining agreement rules will change the outcome of the certain teams and where their rosters end up going. So let us know what you guys think. Would the Nuggets have got over the line in the last few years had they had Jamal Murray healthy? And any other comments you have regarding what we had to say today? We'd love to hear from you. And as always, make sure you've subscribed to the Bench Mob. It'll be very much appreciated, guys.
Absolutely. Yeah, just make sure you are subscribing. If you do enjoy this type of content, we're going to be posting this weekly, like these types of discussions with a lot of other things, including, play interviews with some special guests, a couple former NBA players and top level, prospects out there. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, on our end, I guess we'll see you guys next time. It's been Mark from the Bench Mob.
It's been Danko from the Bench Mob, and it's been an absolute pleasure. See you guys.
Take care.